He grabs a sprayer and waters his favorite plants on the table. Hero's lounging in a hammock with a pale cat snoozing on top. He pets the cat, dreaming of peace. A droplet slides down a leaf. He wakes up in a dark office, realizing it was all a dream. He sighs, longing for the life he just saw. He checks his cat wallpaper, notes 10 minutes passed, and clicks back to work. He hits the vending machine and grabs an energy drink. The last train is announced. After 3 long nights, our hero is finally heading home to water his plants. The intercom signals the final stop. A cop approaches, but he's only focused on his flowers. The cop screams to wake the slumped-over guy, but our hero ignores the noise, wondering if he should bring bait for the dying office plants instead. Hero begs for more dream time, while the panicking cop screams for him to wake up. He wakes up in a wooden cart, wearing a raincoat bag on the bench. He wakes up, realizing it's been ages since he dreamed of the past. Suddenly, a girl driving an ox cart by the river shouts for him to wake up. 19-year-old Lit Reichardt leans out, asking what's wrong. The freckled coachman apologizes for waking him and points ahead. The heroes hop out to find a massive tree blocking the road. Its trunk shuts down the path, and with water to the right and a cliff to the left, they're completely stuck. Lit gapes at the massive tree. The girl sighs, exhausted. A forced detour adds 5 days to their trip, but the hero doesn't mind. He's actually enjoying the unexpected side quest. She turns to the cart. There's a problem. That Imperial package is due in just 2 days. Nearly in tears, she cries about late fees gutting her pay and an unfinished quota. The hero eyes her, then turns away. She pets the bull, ready to leave, but notices the guy backed off. He nears the tree, warning them to clear out. It's not safe. He touches the trunk, commanding the tree to move with an unknown force. The tree's ripped from the ground and starts changing. Branches sprout from the tree. The hero remembers dying of exhaustion on a train, now reborn into this peaceful world. He hits 16. He's a hero at his age. The tree knots into branches, leaving the girl stunned. Massive branches tangle together, hoisting the tree skyward. The branches crash into the river, sending waves everywhere. Under a giant leaf, the hero says the problem's solved, leaving her in total awe. She screams in delight, asking if it's telekinesis or wind magic. He calls it a trade secret and demands silence. She begs to brag, but he shuts her down. He suggests they leave fast. She beams and agrees, thanking him. They speed past mountains, fields, and farms. Smiling, he recognizes the growth and restoration magic, then casts it on the massive tree to shift its direction. Plant mages are rare, and as the only one he knows, Lit's laying low to avoid standing out. Reborn in harmony, he became the promised masked hero and ended the 100-year demon war. He crushed the demons with plant magic, restoring peace. Reincarnation changed nothing. He's still haunted by the courtroom, the heavy shackles, and the crowds pointing fingers. 3 years later, they're on a 10-day cattle drive out of the capital. Lit shuts his eyes, feeling like a Hain noble. He'd prefer an ox cart, but he's loving the slow pace. Freckles asks his job, assuming he's an elite magician. Lit casually admits he's jobless. Shocked, she asks if he really quit just to move to the village. He says he quit, but he was actually fired and lost everything. She asks again. Staring at the bottle, he vows to chase his ambitions. No longer a hero, saint, or corporate drone, he's finally free. He's living for himself this time. The girl says they're almost there. She's hyped. They're hitting the guild union's massive, one-of-a-kind capital. He leans out the window, wind ruffling his hair. She mentions the city's 100-plus independent guilds, hoping he finally finds what he's looking for. She calls the city a beacon of hope, but the hero wonders if he'll succeed. They hit the bridge as skyscrapers tower ahead. She welcomes him to Gauntland, the land of the free. The hero slams his mug, downing half the drink. He foams at the mouth, craving the taste. He's hyped. The capital only served warm beer and banned drinking until 20, making his old world surprisingly strict. He samples the meat and cheese, realizing food in this world is garbage, either pure salt or totally tasteless. This food can't match modern Japan's abundance. This world is pure harmony. Reborn 20 years ago, he's in Harmony, the world's largest continent. It's an hourglass-shaped landmass with a massive gap splitting north and south. He thinks the Romance Empire rules the north. The Guild Union independently rules the southern continent. Gauntland is the Guild Union's only southern territory and the largest city in the south. Peering out the tavern window, he realizes this city is nothing like the capital. It's peaceful, untouched by war, and even the flowers are perfectly tended. The clerk asks about the snacks, but he dodges, praising the beer instead. She happily buys it. She notes he's different, asking if he's from the Empire. He nervously asks if he really looks like an Imperial. She calls him young and handsome, then eyes his stylish coat. Scanning the humans and beastmen, she realizes he's unique. The hostess asks why a Reich citizen is visiting, assuming it's a vacation, and he starts to explain. Lit declares it's all about ambition. She laughs, calls it youth, asks his name again, and heads to another table. He downs his beer, regretting the name drop. She knows he's imperial, but his true identity is still a secret. Every local he's questioned recognizes his imperial roots, but nobody knows his name. His fame hasn't reached the southern continent yet. He's thrilled. No info means nobody knows he's a hero. Lit wants solitude, so he buys a remote wasteland to study magic and plants. Next, he fills the empty lot with his favorite plants. He pictures a life on the grass. That's his only ambition. Imagine his plan succeeds. He's just a young man after all. He downs his drink, planning to buy land and play hard, then reaches into his coat. He pulls out the seed flask, inspired. This time, he's finally claiming his freedom. He hits the Bureau of Land Management and instantly rejects the land sale. The elf in glasses apologizes. It's impossible. The hero stares, tense, with a bag of gold between them. The elf wants to buy a hole in a wasteland, but get this, it's actually expensive. The price is in rare large gold coins used for land deals. The hero has never seen them, but one is worth a massive 100 gold coins. The hero needs 10,000 gold for the plan, but the elf warns even a full bag isn't enough. Let's frustrated, despite his heroics, it's still not enough. The elf watches him. He asks if Lith's in the guild. Lith says no, and the man calls it a shame. Guilds offer loans, but they come with mandatory duties. The elf tells him to join the guild and dream big to make money, but he cuts her off. He's not interested. He gloomily swears he'll never be tied down by anything. The elf refuses the sale, so Lit snatches the bag and heads out to earn the cash. He shouts he'll be back, ordering the procedure prepped. He's certain he'll win while the elf tries calling him. He shouts he'll be back by lunch, racing to snag that prime land before someone else buys it. The elf tries to stop him, confused why he'd want a barren wasteland a week's ride away. She waits anyway. 2 hours till lunch let bolts down the stairs. Lit's shocked by the land's price tag. Worse yet, independent players here are banned from taking quests. He needs cash, so he pivots to the plant trade, hunting for a cheap material to flip. Haunted by the elf's words about the guild, he's left feeling lost. He spots 5 thugs cornering a small girl in an alley. He watches, expecting the worst, until one man shoves her to the ground. He hates when the weak are mocked and refuses to look away. Crowds pass the alley, whispering about the cruelty but never helping. They just move on. He calls for the end, but stops when he spots a guy dropping pollen. He casts a growth spell, vines surging out to bind the enemies head to toe. They're paralyzed as a flower blooms. Hooded, he strides past men bound in vines. As they black out, he tells them it's just pollen. Lit bails before they spot him. Fame would wreck his plans. He's relieved she's unhurt as she stands, while she shudders at her enemies. The blonde cat girl drops to all fours, screaming at the fallen man that heaven punishes those who mock the weak. Hero spots her ears and tail, instantly hiding his face as she turns. Smiling, she approaches and points, asking if he's the one who saved her. Hiding his face, he denies everything, cursing the distraction that cost him his escape. She glares, listing facts that he's alone. The hero looks away awkwardly. She senses a secret and asks if he's an imperial enemy. He lowers his hand, nervously asking if she knows who he is. She says no and sighs in relief. Introducing herself as Manhwa, she says she'll find out now. He can't let his secret slip. If the truth leaks, history will repeat itself. He reaches for sleep pollen but skips it. No time. He admits he saved her and Manhwa wags her tail, cheering that she knew it. Litz demands a thank you for saving her, leaving her totally flustered. He asks her to find him anyone needing help or business. He realizes it's just gratitude, no pay. Moan scowls. She offers a special gratitude deal, claiming trust is everything. Lit's thrilled, but her sad expression leaves him baffled. He just needs a job, so they head into the crowded market. A lion girl hawking to customers spots Lit and Manhwa's greeting and waves back. She accuses Manhwa of stealing donuts, then asks if the guy is a customer. Manhwa calls him her benefactor, shocking her. Meet Mia, the Golden Road's top merchant. He greets her and mentions her trouble. She panics, asking if he means the debt. Manhwa cuts in, clarifying she felt something was missing. Mia rubs her head in relief, but he wonders if she's truly okay. Mia reveals Gauntlet's potion supply is bone dry, and high-level ones are impossible to find. He finds the peacetime potion shortage suspicious and asks why. She blames a lack of materials while Manhwa takes notes. She reveals sunlight, and storms destroyed the red berries needed for potions. Mia eyes the wounded, blaming the guild clash for the chaos as the man reaches into his pocket. He shows the berry asking if it's hers. The girls confirm and Mia asks where he got it. He's got samples and magic to duplicate them. Lif asks the price of high-level potions, but Mia says they're out of stock. She asks for 2 gold coins, leaving him stunned. He remembers the elf's words. These coins are for massive deals, worth 100 gold each. Mia says potions used to cost a silver or 2, but now prices have spiked 40x. He's hyped this is a massive boost. Lit asks Mia, what if they monopolize the red berry market? She dreams of winning the economic war and getting filthy rich. He bolts, yelling for them to wait, leaving the group stunned and confused. He slips into a dark alley, alone. Ever since the war ended 4 years ago, monsters vanished, and high-level hunting quests went with them. Burying the berry, he realizes no organization means no quests. He stands up, admitting the elf was right. The guild is the fastest way to get rich. Sickened by his old guild, Lith casts a growth spell on the berry, and a sprout instantly bursts from the ground. Magic sparkles and power surges from his stance. He's certain, this time he's claiming true freedom. Berry bushes sprout around him, giving him everything he needs to survive solo. He harvests the berries, thrilled by their growth and shiny, perfect look. He needs baskets, preserves, and a wizard to dry them. Back at the market, he and the girls duck behind a tent. Hero reveals 2 berry baskets. Mia confirms they're the right ones, leaving her and Manhwa stunned by the massive haul. Lit promises a steady supply if prices hold, leaving the girl terrified. She pictures him as a bandit and asks if he's a spoiled young master, leaving the hero stunned. Lit insists it's a win-win deal. Mia's terrified of bandits, but Lit senses her fear and proves he's legit to calm her down. He knows he sounds suspicious and starts to panic. Mia watches him, tense with dread. Manhwa steps in, claiming he's fine and calling him a good guy, leaving Lita stunned. Mia's sold. She greenlights the job and asks his price. He flashes the total price, deposit included. For his future, it's non-negotiable. Mia hesitates, then caves. She steps in, confidently confirming the deal. She won't waste this chance, vowing to unleash her inner beast. He agrees. To catch the cub, you enter the tiger's den, no matter the risk. Mia doesn't get the proverb, so Lit explains he was just stressing the importance of risk. Mia asks his name, treating him like a VIP. He realizes he never gave his name. Maya and Manhwa wait expectantly, judging him by his actions instead of rumors. He remembers the names, Mr. Lazy Hero, and flashes a bittersweet smile. He introduces himself with a handshake, and Mia eagerly returns the gesture with respect. They shake hands, sealing the deal. Mia cheers, her debt is finally paid. The guy questions her merchant skills while Manhwa watches, chin on her notebook. Lit hits the land sales office and apologizes for crashing the elf's lunch. He's just glad the hero noticed. He pities the admin, knowing everyone treats him like a 24/7 golem. The elf asks if he's finished, and he confirms it. He slams bags of cash onto the table, realizing he's way richer than expected. It's a massive upgrade from his old life. ELV warns gold won't cut it, but the guy scoffs and unties a bag anyway. He reveals a mithril coin, stunning the man. Lit notes the Empire and autonomous regions value gold and silver currency differently. He thought the fees were too high, but his earnings cover it exactly. The elf opens the bags to find a mountain of mithril coins. The man grabs a bag, shouting that these rare metal coins are worth a fortune globally. He's got 100, a rare find even for him. The guy just looks around wearily. He muzzles the man to stay low profile while the elf geeks out over the gold, praying he keeps his mouth shut. The man apologizes, asking how he scored so much cash so fast. He awkwardly admits he's just unemployed. The elf eyes him, demanding a name. The boy panics, feeling suspicious as the man's gaze lingers. He hesitantly states his full name. The elf apologizes, calling it a formality. Lit sighs in relief. The man grabs a quill and asks if he's joined the guild. Lithuorbly says no, and the elf calls it a loss. He seals it and tells Lith to return at sunset. Lith thanks him as the elf bids him farewell. Lit beams, clutching the document and declaring it's all his now. The man mentions a clothing guild sale starts in 30 seconds, leaving the boy totally confused. The elf tells him to swap his cloak and his interests. He's stunned, the imperial emblem on his back blew his cover, and the elf awkwardly looks away. The boy thanks the man for the kindness, while the elf plays it cool. He unpacks at a hotel. On the nightstand, a flask holds a seed next to a burning candle. Freshly showered, he collapses onto the bed. After a long journey with nowhere to rest, this luxury is a dream come true. He hits the bed satisfied after a massive day of harvesting, buying land, stocking seeds and booking an ox cart for tomorrow. Finally rich, he opens his eyes and stares at the ceiling. He recalls everyone he met today and realizes they're all good. Lit considers joining the guild, but seeing the cloak on the floor changes his mind. He glares at the imperial emblem, vowing not to fail again. This time, he's winning his freedom. At 16, he saved the empire, only to face the same nepotism and jealousy from his past life. Reborn in another world, he tells everyone he's done with his second life. He ditched fame to become a court magician. He chose the job and landed it instantly with his skills. He expected the empire's elite to treat him as an equal. Years later, rumors spread he only got the job through the hero's pull and was terrifying. He realized nothing here had changed. He worked a dead-end job far from magic or botany until a coworker approached him. Four Eyes smugly orders the hero to do a job since he's free. He's stuck cleaning dark, unopened archives alone, grinding through endless overtime. Surprisingly, analyzing the secret research of ancient court magicians is a total blast. He finds a world tree legend, realizing it exists in his world too. A twin-tailed girl flashes by as he flips the pages, totally hooked. A distraction pulls his gaze away. A flask on a desk beams a column of light. Spellbound, he steps closer and reaches for her. He brushed the glass, eyes locked on the glow. He grabbed the flask and held it up, staring into its mysterious, glowing contents. He stared at the blue-tinted silver seed in the vessel. Lit had never seen anything like this. Suspecting a new species, he decides to study it. A crowd storms in, ordering him to freeze. Iron Glasses shouts that he is accused of poisoning His Majesty's tea to the dock. This phrasing is a bit clunky. Iron Glasses is likely a character. Lit catches on and pockets the flask. He remembers the trial, the crowd screaming for his death and exile. He was framed, a mere pawn in a dirty political power struggle. He knew he was set up, but welcomed the exile, finally realizing reincarnation isn't freedom. That's when he decided to build it himself. Morning hits, he eats and gets ready. He suits up in yesterday's gear. Boots, gloves, and a raincoat sporting an inverted L-class mark. He checked his new fit, doubting the look since he let the clerk choose. The same girl in the cart returns, a total shock for someone living in the middle of nowhere. She described his new home as a desert island. Staring at the city, he dreamed of the wasteland. He loves this spot, water, wasteland, and miles from any humans. He claims this is the perfect spot, and she finally gives in. Let says he's never coming back, but she tells him she'll miss him. She tells him to reach out if he reconsiders, even if it's a tough trip. Lit thanks her as they leave the city behind. Driving past the fields, the boy's dreams from both lives finally come true. His mission: grow everything from everyday crops to the rarest exotic flowers. Night falls, he dreams of a simple life, living off the land and finding peace on his own terms. They arrive, she waves goodbye, he waves back and drops his suitcase. Lit scans the horizon, the city's gone. Now his world and life are all he can see. A vast desert stretches ahead, but he spreads his arms and finds pure freedom. He shouts at the sunrise, "This is the perfect world." Lit pulls out a flask, wondering what flower will bloom from the seed. He sits, ready to finally live a measured life. A week ago in the capital, Mia celebrates their potion monopoly. She offers Manhwa food, but Manhwa refuses, busy taking notes. Mia asks for plans, but Manhwa's too busy and says they haven't spoken in ages. She starts an article on a legendary imperial mage, and an impressed Maya tags along. Wings of a Feather's top reporter Manhwa is hunting her next big scoop, Lit. It spends the night in a desert tent, morning dew rolling down. He tosses and turns on the couch, shivering in the unexplained cold while a glowing flask of semen on a nearby suitcase dimly lights the room. Above him, a serious pixel girl stares him down. She stares him down, demanding he stand. He wakes and greets Navi, an artificial spirit whose icy stare chills the air. He begs for more sleep, but Navi screams him awake. Lit tries an awkward, long time no see, but she sees right through his fake smile. Navi hits emergency mode after a long silence and asks where they are. The boy on the couch says he bought this land, 10 days away from Gortland. Realizing they're in a southern city, she asks what happened. Calling him master, Lit is speechless. He thinks artificial spirits are just semi-autonomous, ancient magic, but Navi is a fully independent life form. She gets in his face, asking if his brain rotted while he slept. He notes Navi is loud and fiercely independent. She stares him down, demanding an answer. She asks again, but he brushes her off, claiming it's just a simple move. Silent, she reveals she's the master's puppet, an artificial spirit navigator bound to his command. He argues she's no puppet since she has a mind, but she shuts him down. Even with a will, she's still just a tool. Navi calls herself an object with a fake personality, but he tells her she's more than just a thing. She gets it, he wants to stand alone, without relying on magic or anyone else. Navi says unused tools get lonely. The boy stops to think. She mocks his tiny tent, but Lit snaps that it was a total struggle. He promises to call on her if needed, and Navi bows. Satisfied, she enters sleep mode. Lit says goodnight, his mind still stuck on calling her a tool. He gears up and steps into the freezing cold. They need a home fast. The guide hunts for water, blindsided by the rugged terrain. Compass out, those dense eastern mountains likely hide a spring, so he's moving in. He figures it's time to find a home and keeps them trekking toward the mountains. Plant magic could fix the soil, but he refuses to cheat. He wants the true adventurer life, and his magic seeds are running low. Determined to survive on sheer willpower, he grabs a suitcase and a walking stick, trekking toward the mountain for the first time in ages. Gasping for air and slumped over his staff, he realizes the struggle is real. He eyes the eastern mountains ahead, plotting his path. He rejects magic and pushes forward alone, but 2 steps in, his stick hits the dirt. He uses his rapid growth to build a cart and rails. Even in the past, this hardcore gamer refuses to waste time traveling the map. He speeds down the rails, wind in his face, loving every second. Lit rolls down like a roller coaster, instantly inspired to build a train. An ice guy train, he's hyped for the ride. Satisfied with his speed, the hero pulls the wooden stopcock to slow down. The lever snaps. The cart doesn't slow down, hurtling forward at full speed. He's accelerating downhill when his tires start smoking. It's bad, but then something else catches his eye. The tracks end at a massive boulder, and the hero realizes he's about to slam right into it. Panic hits, he's going too fast to stop. He curses, bracing for the impact. Lit calls Navi. Mapping begins, and she spots a potential descent 220 meters nor-northwest. She shouts 4 seconds to the rock, but he cuts her off as the cart hurtles forward. No time for rails. He drops a new spell, tossing seeds and forcing instant growth. The cart shatters midair, launching him over a massive rock. He lands in the flowers, laughing. That was fun. Navi pops up, eyeing the flower pillows and asking if he's still alive. Lit grins. She's right on time. He thanks her for the save. She gives a small, sincere smile. She claims she's just a tool, but Lit brushes it off, saying she's at it again. Novi's voice greets him first, checking in and welcoming him to harmony like a game system message. He used ancient ruin magic to give the voice a body, creating this artificial spirit. He brought the instrument to life. Determined to be friends, he boldly reveals why he's there. Talking late into the night, a sad Navi asks why he kept it secret. He explains that if his outcast status is revealed, the girl will curse them for 3 months. Navi says a year of abuse is enough. Lit's terrified, but Navi keeps going. He didn't want her hearing that garbage. Sure he's moved on, she asks hard if he missed her. Lit smiles humbly, looks to the sky, and declares he's finally free. He gazes at the stars, dreaming of total freedom. Navi stares at him with pure sadness. She gets the gist and powers down. Lit says goodnight. He stands, knowing Navi's angry and pitying him for not calling her before building the house to avoid this mess. He stares off, raises his hands, and vows to upgrade the tent tonight. But Navi stops him. She's got news. She claims 93% of his property was pulverized. Stunned by her words, she sees the ruined tent. He asks for a new home, but she stays silent. A girl watches them from behind a rock. Lit surveys the wreckage, finding only a blanket and seeds survived. Clutching his knees, he admits this is way harder than he expected. He grabs the staff, accepts the situation, and stands. Survival is the only goal now. He swings his staff and tosses seeds, making massive vines erupt from the earth. They twist together, surging upward as apples sprout. Glowing lantern peaks form as Lit shuts his eyes to focus. He snaps his eyes open, staring confidently at the finished fence and lit-up yard. He spots a stilted log house and claims it as his new home. He builds a twig tap, but it barely drips. The ground is bone dry, making the groundwater impossible to reach. He's lost the river, finding only a dry trail where it once flowed. Even with a GPS, this wasteland is an endless, massive void. Poor Tomia, is his new land really bone dry? Recalling the elf's promise, the hero looks for the flat wasteland and water he demanded, wondering if there's been a mistake. He eyes the cup. It's a start. It'll take time to build, but it's enough to grow the seeds. Lit checks the mysterious X seed, relieved it's safe. Stolen from the archives, he knows it's priceless. Thinking it's a tree, he decides to grow a sapling. He crafts a pot, fills it with soil, and eagerly plants a seed. He raises the part skyward, dying to see what grows. After prepping the soil for tomorrow's watering, Jans heads inside to eat his apples, but the sour taste makes him wince. Morning hits. He checks the beds and scans the rocks, suspecting they're human, until he spots a hand gripping a stone. Panicked, he thinks he's seeing things but quickly snaps back. He steels himself, scans the area, and peeks behind the rock. A girl sits crying, her wounded hands clutching a potted plant. He's stunned to find the girl's tiara isn't a decoration, it's a real flower. He wakes Navi for an assessment. She appears reboot complete. Evaluation over. Navi reveals she's a 14-year-old human-equivalent flower person whose true size was hidden from the system. Stoked to meet the flower people, the boy cheers while the girl panics. Navi flags her rising stress as too much, leaving the hero totally baffled. He'd heard legends of the flower people, nature dwellers who could control plants, but he never thought they were real. Questions flood his mind. Who is she? Are there others like her? And why is she farming his land? He tries to calm her, saying everything's fine and asking if she's having any problems. Navi says flower people don't understand humans. The girl watches him tensely as he spots the plant in her hand. Lit spots the 6 springberries, realizing she's the one who planted them. He kneels to ask her name, spotting his own first as she stares back, hesitating to ask again. Navi tries to speak, but the girl whispers her name, Frau. Suddenly, her tiara's flower blooms. Her tiara blooms as she repeats her name with bold confidence. He introduces himself as a plant mage, and Lit realizes Frau understands basic speech. Navi asks for help with Frau, but he says she's no threat to their plans. Fraud stares sadly at the petals, but the hero vows to fix it. He assures her everything's fine, leaving her stunned. He stakes the seedling and sits with Frau. It needs iron and water, so he sprinkles powder and waters the sprout. He casts a healing spell, turning the leaves bright and juicy. The girl sighs in shock. He thinks he's just boosting the plant's healing, but as he reassures her, he stops dead, staring at her in awe. Her tiara flower blooms fully, engulfing her head like a massive headdress. Eyes glowing, he stares at the magnificent plant. He figures the flower blooms when she's happy. It's incredible, he's never seen anything like it. Frau awkwardly thanks him in bits. Lit stares in shock. She beams, finally giving him a heartfelt thanks. He thinks it's cute. Navi asks if they're in trouble, but Denise says the plants are safe. The girl agrees. Frau sits up on his chest, thanking him nonstop. He looks at her with pity. The boy figures Frau was desperate, risking everything to plant berries in his nutrient-rich soil. He envisions her years of struggle to save the plant. Navi says Frau's love is growing, but he sends her to bed. She warns him, don't forget your own ambitions. He's determined to live alone and stay out of it. He's just a stranger, but as she clings to his clothes, he notices she's trembling. Springberries look like peaches but taste like raspberries. They're used for potions, but for humans, they're just sour juice with zero tonic effect. Lit pulls her into a hug, realizing the berry is actually working. He thinks Frau wants to save her people, and her eyes widen. Hidden in the eastern mountains, flower people live in tiny treehouses. The residents watch on, totally unfazed. Fraud brings him to her village. Inside, Lit asks about the springberry healing water, but Fraud is clueless. He clarifies, she nods, and Lit realizes the springberry infusion is actually a potion. Springberries have been failing for 2 years, dying before they're even planted. Frau confirms they're all gone, and the villagers are suffering for it. Springberry medicine is gone, and the flower people are fading fast, starting with the kids and elderly. The boy realizes everyone dies, and her tears confirm it. Seeing the trembling girl, Leith realizes the elder's daughter was desperately trying to save her. He frowns. Things are way worse than he imagined. Lit thinks the berry is medicine that could wipe out local diseases. He figures it never rains here, but the wet mountains mean there's groundwater the locals can't pump. He sees the seedlings lack iron and water, but realizes water is the main problem. He stands, announcing he'll plant springberries using his groundwater. Frau is stunned. The land's already plowed. Navi asks if he'll help the settlement, and he's in. Jackson's girl warns the land is dying. Without water, he'll struggle. She asks if this kills his dreams, wouldn't he rather live alone and free? She pressures him, recalling his past lives, and struggles to warn he's repeating the same mistake. He smiles, tells her he's got this, and Navi vanishes. He expands the pipes, boosts water flow, and adds iron to fuel his growth simulator. He promises the plants will thrive, but she's in total shock and asks him to repeat it. Magic isn't enough. Lit's low on seeds and needs manpower for watering and healing, a total nightmare. She bolts out to rally the village, and soon the guy is stunned by the sight. The residents arrived, confident and ready to help. Stunned they'd trust an outsider, he vows to fix everything and never let them down. Back in his yard, he remembers, springberries have a language of flowers. He waves his staff, making plants sprout instantly as flower people pass buckets to water the fields. They water their beds one by one, while the hero thinks of sowing. He adds a mental condition. Night falls and he tells her to sleep, but she refuses to budge. Lit looks down on her. Honor triumphs over shame as they fight for a land with nothing left. The boy's growth spell triggers as the girl watches the field tense. Their hard-won crops finally bloom, and the village explodes with joy. Tearing up, Fraud reaches the ripe fruit and beams. They ignite a massive blaze. They lay out a massive feast, crown him, and shower him with thanks. He's too overwhelmed to protest the food or figure out where the crown came from. Lit warns them to stop sending their daughters to avoid suspicion, but the villagers won't stop thanking him. He clutches his head, staring at the scene in total disbelief. They spent 3 days reviving the berries and brewing a cure to save the sick. Lit notes the patient is recovering. 3 nights later, the danger is finally over. Resting on a log, Frower clings tightly to him. He wonders why she's so close and warns her not to get attached. She pouts and he finds it super cute. Navi jumps in, questioning their shaky relationship. He asks what she means. She mocks him as the race's savior and Lit shuts her up. Later, Navi asks why he saved them. He eyes the crowd, claiming he's only there for their shared love of nature. She's skeptical but lets it slide. Fru spots a figure by the fire and stands, drawing every eye. Tears streaming, she bolts toward her at full speed. She lunges, pulling her into a tight hug. The girl fights back tears to speak, and Frau sobs her reply. Navi calls her beautiful. He notices she's recovered, and suddenly it all clicks. She's the tribe leader and Fru's mother. Navi spots the girl's resemblance and eyes the boy. Litz weeps, glad he helped. The girl watches him thoughtfully. She started as just a voice only he could hear, acting as his personal analyst. Lit discussed deep topics, pausing before she answered. Thrilled it answered, the boy fired off questions and they started chatting. In the future, she stayed by his side through peace and deadly battles. He asks if she's bored without a body. She doesn't mind, talking to him is enough. He apologizes, remembering how he built her body with magic to make her autonomous. He bitterly refuses to use her as a tool, and she gazes back tenderly. Navi smiles, calling him kind as usual. Lit disagrees, claiming he's just a good man at best. She says it's the wrong word, leaving him totally confused. She admits she was wrong about helping the people and congratulates him. She's never seen his actions help this many people. He eyes the cheering crowd. Some drink, others rest, and many finally spend time with their loved ones. Watching the reunion warms his heart. Navi was right. She notices he carries too much alone and offers her help, swearing to have his back. She tells him to live for himself and follow his spirit. Lid is stunned. Did the usually emotionless Navi just smile? He chuckles at her bluntness, and she shyly looks away. She looks up, face flushing, as he teases Navi for being shy. She glares, but he laughs and thanks her, ready to enjoy his new life of total isolation. 24 words, my draft is 19 words, that's fine, shorter is better. Final check. Frau waves and he realizes G. Fru grabs his hand and pulls him over. The boy yields and stands. Lit used to find parties pure torture, but dancing with Fry by the fire, he's finally smiling. He's feeling pretty good. Beside his mother, Fry asks the boy's name. He blurts it out, realizes it sounded ugly, and repeats it in full. Fry calls his name, voice cracking as he begs to work the fields. He asks what she means, then it hits him. He asks again, is it true? Galtland News reports an elite Imperial mage just reached the southern continent. Moan parades them on the street as a bonus. Mia asks if it's about literature, but the girl snaps at her not to spoil the story. Manhwa claims the story as her exclusive goldmine, but the article lands right at a blonde, ponytail girl's feet. She reads about a plant user and a mage. Her eyes sparkle at the description. She's finally found Lit. Adele grips the paper, vowing to bring him back to the capital. Beside a mysterious seed, he grinds away, reflecting on ditching his old life for this remote wasteland. He stares off, knowing he did this all for a quiet life. He checks the beds and is stunned. The flower people are already hard at work in his fields. Navi points out he didn't refuse. Seeing their resolve, the boy knew he couldn't say no. He checks the hall, a massive surplus of 50 springberry baskets for business and 50 for medicine. The flower folk meticulously tend their fields with expert care, until Fry waves him over. He waves back satisfied. Navi watches skeptically. She warns his laziness will cost him, but Lit doesn't realize she's already suffered that fate. She turns back. He reports an intruder. A massive clawed paw slams onto the dry ground. He waves to the newcomers, claiming he expected them. Navi asks if he knows them while the flower people watch. Lit says they helped him a bit. Maya and Manhwa wave wildly from their giant sand lizard carriage. Mia's stunned, red berries are everywhere. He owes everything to the flower people, but the locals eye the newcomers with suspicion. Manhwa notes the flower people in her journal. Maya's clueless, so she heads straight for them. She wants another secret, exclusive contract with the guild. He weighs the perks, no sales stress, and a hidden location. He was about to offer the deal himself, but Mia beat him to it. He wants a better deal and has more to sell, but he's sticking with her. Mia accepts before he can explain, trusting her gut that it's the right move. Manhwa scoffs at Mia's trash jokes. Lit offers to grab the files, but Manhwa stops him. It can wait. She steps up to work. He's shocked they aren't guildmates, but Mia sets him straight while Manhwa finally introduces herself. She's the ace reporter for the wings of the Feather Info Guild. He stares in shock at the newspaper shoved his way. She brags about her report and demands thanks. Lit reads about the Imperial Mage, while Manhwa admits she faked being a victim to look heroic. She steps up, warning him not to make things worse. Mia reveals Wings of a Feather is a major player, famous across the city and the entire southern continent. Terrified their ambitions are over, he begs Navi for help. She refuses, claiming she was deactivated and knows nothing. Lit admits she's right, then Manman tackles the guy. She whispers he can tell them anything, her hair tickling his face like irresistible cat fur. He can't resist the soft fur as she pins him down. He asks who it is, exhaling heavily. Fry steps in, cutting them off. She asks if they're friends, turning every head. Mia realizes they're just business partners, but the girl questions the word again. Fry welcomes them with open arms, declaring their friends are family as villagers rush out with booze. The girls shout their hungry friends, already drooling over the barrel. They toast the Mata Tobai wine as the whole crowd erupts. Lit's amazed by the flower people's power, but Fry says cats love it. It hits like Matatabi wine, an ancient Frau family secret. Impressed by their collection, our hero finally relaxes. Thanks, Frau, that weird move bought him time to cool off. He's meeting Manhwa, and Frau's hyped to know if they'll have fun. He refuses, claiming he's got a serious talk and a major business meeting. He sips his mug to steel his nerves. He joins Mia and Manhwa, who love the food and his company. He's glad they visited and asks how they like the drinks. Mom loves the taste. The hero tells them to drink up and they praise his kindness. The girls are tipsy. Lit chuckles, surprised his old skills are useful in this life, when Manhwa asks who brewed the drink. The flower people did this. Their tech is insane, and their berry wine and juice are just as perfect. Myanmar's stunned. Mia orders another round, and the guy finally makes his move. He mentions the interview as a drunk man stumbles over, demanding she witness everything and telling him to hurry. He stays anonymous to keep his presence secret, offering a better deal instead. Myanmar is skeptical. Lit lists rare sake, a secret flower tribe, and hidden treasure, leaving Manhwa stunned they actually exist. She calls it too simple. A mysterious wizard saving dying flowers is way more interesting. She's a pro even while drunk, but he won't let his ambitions die. Lit tells Mia to sell the drink at the city harvest. Manhwa asks about the contract. Pointing to the table, he says their reputation will make this delicious food sell even faster. Manhwa agrees and asks about the drink, but the guy says the maker is key, curiosity is. Manna knows the hype is for profit. The guy wants to drip-feed the info, but the girl dismisses it as a baseless rumor. He says most reporters would quit, but she's got the guts to face bandits and hunt stories in the middle of nowhere. Manhwa's eyes gleam. She has to write a realistic story. Lit says the article's viral thanks to my products, and people actually love it. He says customers down my drinks and crave the next article. The hero dreams of a village full of food and drink, dancing happily by a massive bonfire. He's hyped to live happy and build a true utopia. Manhwa hypes the mystery into a legend, and he finally feels understood. If she's right, this legend will skyrocket their brand. Lit offers a hand, urging her to take the deal. He wants an exclusive contract, exactly like Mia's, Manhwa notes. He wants her to live her dream, but he must stay hidden. Manhwa promises a massive payday, but she hesitates, worried about the articles. Mia tackles Manhwa, offering help in a bad mood, while Lit decides to seize the opening. Seeing her resolve waver, he grabs her hands and begs for her agreement. She purses her lips, grabs a pen, and admits she's powerless. She signs exclusively with Lit, telling them to trust a first-class pro like Manhwa the Great. They sandwich the blushing guy, sealing their three-way secret. Manhwa greets her and Lit thanks her. They're ditching poverty to get rich. Ignoring the money grab insults, they toast their new contract as Navi realizes this is the perfect start. He's ready to protect this peace and his life alongside his new friends. A month later, they return and Mia rushes out, shouting that something huge happened. Mia's thrilled. Their product is a massive citywide hit. Manhwa's sick of questioning customers, but the guy notes the legend is finally blowing up. The girls cheer. Teaming with Lit means they're getting rich. The guy watches them warmly. They're getting rich exactly as he predicted, and thankfully, they're keeping his identity a secret just like they promised. Lit's hyped. Stage. One is a wrap now that his funding and management reserves are locked in. Navi cheers and suggests a rest. He's all for it. He tells everyone, even the flower people, it's time to celebrate. He suggests a barbecue. He fires up the grill as Manhwa and Mia prep the drinks. A comment about taking turns sends Mia chasing the white-haired girl while Frau just smiles. Lit licks his lips, eyeing the massive meat. He thinks the meat's butcher fresh, chilled by a mage to stay prime. They've got Mia's luxury kit ready, special salt and fireproof skewers. He slices, skewers, and salts the meat, then hits the fire. Food's ready, crispy veggies and meat dripping with aromatic juice. He points to the right side of the grill, cooking a special batch without onions or garlic for the journalist and merchant. The girls are stunned. He knows their secret. The boy fed Frau's people, then handed Navi a kebab, which she took with a grateful smile. Food served, he turned to see a beaming crowd all shouting bon appetit in unison. Lit takes a bite and instantly freezes, clutching his mouth. The crowd panics as a worried Navi rushes to his side. He collapses. The girls rush over, fearing the meat was poisoned, but Lit just shoves more in his mouth, terrifying them further. Shocking everyone, he flings his arms wide and shouts through tears that the dish is surprisingly delicious. Stunned by the bizarre reaction, the girls froze as the journalist and Frau both broke down in tears. He promised to stop and told the girls to quit crying. As Lit finished his meal, Mia approached him with a request for the owner. She wanted to name the land, and Mama agreed. It was way too confusing without one. Frau grins and rushes to Lit, also wanting to know the name of this place. He hadn't thought this through. Navi mocks her master's bad taste, leaving him stunned she actually understands him. The girl corners Lit, demanding he name the land right now. Scanning the nature, his home, and the girls, Lit felt a sudden flash of a distant memory. He names the land Tagan Village. The girls love it, but only Navi recognizes the name from his homeland, and she doesn't mind. Lit never imagined this, grilling his own homegrown crops in the middle of nowhere, far from his past. Too many people, this was nothing like the life he dreamed of. He didn't care, he was thrilled. Raising his hands, he roared, "From today, this is Tagan Village." Plans tanked, but this was paradise. Great vibes, better company, what more could he want? He wanted solitude, but it's too late. Now he's stuck with a room of snoring girls keeping him wide awake. Navi reports back. This time it's no guest entering the territory, it's an intruder. A beastly monster, clearly hostile. A century ago, ruins surfaced in northern Rome and Sia, unleashing endless monsters and plunging the empire into a non-stop war. To stop the monster invasion, the South built a massive wall across the land bridge, cutting off the North entirely. The southern continent should be monster-free, leaving Lit baffled by their presence. Navi spots the gap between theory and reality. The continents are totally cut off, and Lit realizes he relied way too much on Empire intel. He asks for the monster count and rank, but the assistant sees a solo, mid-tier adventurer. Monster power scales with danger. Low ranks swarm, intermediates use magic, and high ranks command massive armies backed by magic factories. She wants to retreat, but Lit refuses. He's been fighting solo since his days in the Empire. These aren't low-tier mobs, they're special class. Lit wants him dead, but he has to evacuate everyone first. Meanwhile, the girls are waking up. The girls wake up screaming, thinking it's a drunken hallucination, as a tiger-like beast prepares to strike. The beast roars and lunges. Lit orders Navi to evacuate everyone. Forced into a corner, he uses a special combat herb. Monsters closing in, he triggers growth, but a voice yells, "Wait," and he cancels the strike. The plants strike but fail to pierce. He turns to Frau as she summons her allies. She screams, pointing at the massive cat. Her people charge, instantly grasping Fru's plan. The flower people swarm the giant cat, boxing it in with no escape. Crowds dodge the beast's strikes, while Lit struggled to understand why he was being held back from the total war zone. The flower-tried people approach with water bowls, gulping and spraying it right onto the creature. The monster staggers, eyes shutting as it collapses. He crashed out cold. No longer a monster, but a snoring kitten with massive claws and fangs. Lit realized the flower people spiked his wine. He actually got lucky. The crowd cheers, and Lit stunned they won so fast, but Navi cuts him off. It's time to finish the beast. Empire rules were simple. Kill monsters on sight or they'll strike back. But suddenly he spotted something and froze. Flower people swarm the monster, screaming for strength as they struggle to lift its massive weight. Lit doubted the return to the eastern mountains. Then Fru revealed the cat guards the fields. He usually guards berries for drinks, but the smell of meat sparked his hunger. Look at his eyes, he's realized something. They live in symbiosis, but he'd fight his way out if he were alone. Meanwhile, the flower people slowly haul the beast away. Novi sighed, knowing the real fight was just starting. She locked in and told the village elder she was counting on him. Fired up, he looked up and agreed. He rushes to the flower people to help haul the giant cat to the eastern mountains. Lit recruited Frau Mia and a sleepy Manhwa for the mission. Village saved, he rallies everyone to finish the job and start drinking. Work finished, they sat by the window. Navi handles the books and her people manage the farms. Mia's Golden Path Guild handles wholesale supply, while Manhwa's Wings of the Feather runs intel. Sam Lit, the village headman and chief protector. Water is the biggest crisis. Spring water is running dry, limiting them to low-water crops and making mass production impossible. Problem 2, food. Frau's cooking is decent but basic, lacking any real seasoning skills. Suddenly, Litz is hit with a shock. He admired the window pot as the mystery seed stirred, and a tiny sprout burst through the soil. This light monocotyledon glows with a beautiful gradient, shifting from blue-purple to red-orange. To him, it was pure magic. Unsure what it was, he poked the tiny sprout. He hugs the pot tight, admiring its beauty and hoping it grows fast while Navi watches in shock. Her disgust terrifies him. Tagan village is rising and the locals are going all out. Plus, that mysterious Sedax is now the butt of X. Morning hits and Frau wakes up. She wakes up, downs breakfast, and gets ready, but her hair's a mess today. Field duty today. Tending the garden with Lit and the villagers, she's hyped to see a massive fruit harvest. While the others rest and prep juice, the girls' tribe stomps berries like they're dancing. Lunch hits and the girl reveals their turnips are finally ready. Lit's hyped, asking if Frau cooked this whole feast for the crew. Lunch hit different after the grind. The flower people napped in the sun, but Fraud was wired. Lit and Frau chill in the sun until the guy asks if flower people photosynthesize. Navi calls him uncultured, while a confused Frau just freezes up. She grabs the book she needs, frozen surprise. Clutching a folk dictionary, the girl calls it her treasure. Lit finally knows how she learned their language, but its origin remains a mystery. Proud admits a kind stranger gave it to her years ago. He wonders who would do that, but another shock hits him. Seeing his master's signature sends him into a cringing horror while Navi recalls those nightmare days. Frama checks on him, and he thanks her. He was stunned his master visited the village and even taught them the language. He owes his mentor for the guts to face Frau, while she just stares back, totally embarrassed. She was once trapped in a nightmare of sickness and fear, but now everyone's finally smiling, including Lee and his friends. She beamed, admitting she was thrilled. He remembers the cats are due today, and right on cue, Mia greets him. He asks for Manhwa, but the cat ditched her for being late. Did she pull an all-nighter and oversleep? A mysterious girl sprints through the desert clutching a sobbing Manhwa. She's thrilled to find him while the cat apologizes, claiming she had no choice. They rush to Tagan village to see Lit. Lit suggests packaging the berry alcohol and unique labels for every wine. Mia loves the offer. It's the perfect way to stand out, so she promises to contact the artist guild master. The deal was simple but interesting, until Navi interrupts with some bad news. Another uninvited guest is charging in at high speed. Lit and Mia groan as it happens again, but the assistant snaps she's innocent. She says the master knows him. He peers into the distance, hoping he has no meetings today. He spotted something, but the stranger was already at the gate, about to enter. She hops off her monster, her cloak flashing the imperial crest. Lit notices instantly. He spots Queen Adele with a timid Manhwa trailing behind, and she looks thrilled to see him. Adele's joyful hug snaps the guy's back, forcing an awkward apology. Mia asks Manhwa who she is, but the cat just cries, having no clue. Manhwa points at Adele, claiming the imperial woman held her for answers. She apologizes for the mockery, blaming a rumor that the cat was an Info Guild member. Lit introduces the stranger, Adelia La Romancia, 6th Princess of the Romancia Empire and commander of the 15th Imperial Legion. The girl waves, teasing Lit for acting like his usual self while he notes it's been ages. But the cat whispers she's way too scary for a princess. Adele struggled to find Lit, unaware he was even in the village. Behind him, Frau calls out. The princess orders Lith back to the capital to crush the courtiers who exiled him, her ruthless intent terrifying both Lith and Frau. She insisted force and violence were one and the same. He called out her fake philosophy, but the princess stood her ground. He thanked her but chose a normal life over the capital, leaving Adele horrified. The princess knows if Lit quits, the world burns. He's way too modest, hiding his legendary name even during the war. He's done with the capital. The princess pouts, then hangs her head in sadness. She claimed to understand, but he knew it was a lie as the princess reached for her weapon. She draws her sword and charges Rickard, vowing to drag him to the imperial city at any cost. Seconds later, plants bind and disarm her. Lit isn't even surprised, just staring her down in silence. Lit met the princess's expectations perfectly, but he was totally clueless why she was so happy. Fraud stepped in to stop the fight and greet the girl, ignoring Manma's warnings of danger. Adela shocks them by returning Litz. They're happy she's back, but Litz is lost in thought. He asks the princess for a favor. She blushes, looking thrilled as she hangs on his every word. They need party firewood, but a tiger's stalking the woods, so he recruits Frau for protection. He needs an escort, watch for falling trees in the forest. Adele walks with the girl, questioning why she's wasting her limited time. Back in the capital, Adele learns of Lita's expulsion too late. She couldn't believe it. He won the war for the Empire, yet jealous court magicians claimed he was over-rewarded. Adele gripped her fan, sensing their jealousy. She knew meddling with fairy courts was a mistake, no matter what she wished. Knights whispered about the princess snapping her iron fan. A brutal mountain of muscle and rage, one glare silenced them instantly. Tying her hair, she orders a pursuit, but her servant can't provide the transport. She's dining with Julian this weekend for a meeting that decides her future. Her servant begs her to reconsider. Adele promised to return, but now she's gathering logs in the woods with Frau. Suddenly, the girl spins around and asks, "Are you really Princess Adele?" She agrees, adding she's also an honorary commander of the Empire's 15th Legion. Fraud's hyped, is Adele really a princess and a knight? Confused at first, she just smiles. Adele swings a stick, insisting she's still stylish. She's no Lit, but Frau cheers for the show. Frau asks if she's friends with Lit. The princess hesitates, then blushes, admitting it's way deeper. He's her battle partner and the only one who's always had her back. Their bond is deeper than friendship, so Frau asks if they're really that close. She agrees, so the flower child becomes her friend too. Adele looked away. She hated to ruin Litz's mood, but duty forced her to return it. Adele recalls the advice to avoid strangers because she deserves better. If he likes her, she'll fulfill her duty. A scream cuts her off as a dead tree hurtles toward Fru, who's frozen in terror. The princess can't react, but Frau reaches out to catch the massive tree. Adele reacts instantly, snatching the massive trunk flying at the girl. Lit and Nami watched in awe as the wood splintered. A massive tree behind the girls was a shock, but Adele was actually smashing it into logs with her bare hands. He noticed her skills kept growing after the war. She never stopped the grind. She grabs the twig, gazing at the princess in awe. Adele's officially got a new admirer. Princess cheers as Fraud fails to snap the branch. Lit watches, hoping Adele likes the village too. Everyone's partying and downing wine, but Adele sits back watching silently. Fru offers a snack. The princess refuses, but instantly changes her mind when she hears Lit cooked it. She eyes the fatty meal. It smells incredible, so she digs in. She takes a bite and loves the taste, making Frau beam with joy. She thanks Adele, but the princess brushes it off as just her duty with an awkward smile. Lit drops beside the girls, asking if this life is really worth it. She looks away, lost in thought. Flustered, the princess agreed, captivated by the rare sight. Lit admits they're the same, finding the view stunning. Adele asks if it's just because the Empire looks so ugly. She bows in apology, knowing she's the reason for his court troubles. Critics say a princess shouldn't be near him. She swore no more stupidity and promised to make his life easy. She bows low, begging Lit to return to the Empire. She admitted losing his talent was like erasing a century of imperial history. Lit asks if this is what Princess Adele meant. Looking up, she declares she's a princess. She can't be a knight unless she serves her empire. He apologized but refused to return, choosing a quiet life of growing plants and gathering wood in the wild instead. He thanks Adele for coming, and she's thrilled to hear it. Blushing, she hides her face and says she's leaving first thing tomorrow. She swore never to quit, vowing to return to the imperial capital one day. He agrees with a grin, but only after one more barbecue. Blushing, she vows to return once her business is done. He asks why she's rushing. She says she's got plans she can't miss. Lit stretches and tells her it's bedtime, but as he heads out, she shyly admits there's only one house. She refused to share a room. Her royal side was showing, but she already had a plan. He instantly built a guest house and wished the girl good night. Moments later, the princess's mount is already being untied from the gate. Lit remembers her mentioning morning, so why is she leaving late at night? Before midnight, an exhausted Adele mounts her monster. Lit watches but stays silent. Deep in the forest, a massive cat drinks from the pure lake. Before him stood a mysterious stone etched with a strange symbol. In the capital, a man explains Craig's strategy. Max taxes and weaponized debt turn the people into perfect tools. He ruled his lands his way, the Craig family tradition. The other man smirked, noting their real talent was exploiting fools. He boards the carriage, bids the princess farewell, and awaits Adelio's response. As the carriage leaves, Adelia's brother demands a quick decision. This man is an imperial powerhouse and the ruler of Craig. She stared at the bathroom ceiling, sick of his ego and constant talk of being the best. Tagan village was way more fun than this place. Back in the village, Fraud tries to apologize, but Leto's more shocked she knows such big words than the apology itself. He asks what's wrong, but she just hangs her head. She confessed to insulting Adele. Shocked by her foul mouth, he sits down and asks her to repeat that. She mourned Master Lit's death in silence, unable to utter a single word. Too scared to speak, the girl slumped further, but the guy insisted Adele wouldn't mind. No apology needed. Words aren't enough. Show your intent through action, especially with people. Fraud thinks it's too late since the princess left, but Lit says not to worry. He got the news this morning and reacted just in time. Turns out it was Adele. The princess waves joyfully. Arriving early, the girl begs Lit to return to the capital. Navi clocks an 8-day round trip, but Lit realizes the princess only left 7 days ago. Adele admits she carries him when he's tired, while Frau watches from the side. She moved to speak, but Lit cut her off, handing Adele flowers with all his heart. Overjoyed by the gift, she turned beet red and suddenly hit the floor. Sitting across from the princess, he saw she was fine and knocked her out with a finger tap, knowing Adele always overdoes it. He asks her to talk to the princess when she wakes, and she eagerly agrees. He starts cooking while Fra immediately calls Navi. Haunted by past nightmares, the princess relives her childhood by the wreckage, staring at the magic symbol in the sky. After years of grueling prep, Edel finally passed the orders exam, and on her first night in the Imperial Guard, she vows to prove she's worthy. She remembered her life as a knight, promising the people she'd protect them. They said monsters don't come here and women can't be knights, dismissing her as just a fickle girl. She recalled Litz's battlefield promise to handle the rest since she'd done enough. He finally acknowledged her strength, exactly what she needed. Everything changed. She remembers her brother asking how long she'll play tonight now that the war is over. Her brother finally quits, naming her honorary commander. Shocked and annoyed, the weak knight demands to know what he's thinking. He found the perfect groom for the princess, but then Adele snaps awake. She lay in a bed of flowers, her sword standing guard at her side. Princess bolts upright, realizing the sun's still high and she's been sleeping. She figured Lit used flowers to ease her fatigue. Adele thought she needed rest, but she suddenly jumped up to start her workout. Princess hits the forest to gather herbs and train. Winter's coming, so she's stocking up on firewood. Doubts plagued her. She was just running away, and that's no way for a knight to act. Adele didn't want to return to the capital, and staying away solved everything, but she felt conflicted. Something was definitely off. She felt eyes on her, thinking it was a monster, but no matter how hard she looked, the creature was gone. Maybe she's imagining things. Frau suddenly appears, asking the princess if the girl is okay. Adele woke up early but insists she's fine, letting a relieved Fraubrey finally breathe easy. Princess tells Frau not to worry, she isn't taking it today. Blushing, she admits she loved Tagan so much she came back. The girl wants to stay. Stunned, Fraud calls her name. Suddenly, the entire forest shakes. Adele spots the massive sprouts and recognizes Lith's magic. Apologizing, she leaves Frau behind and sprints back to the village, fueled by determination. Debris flies as a massive cat rampages, locking its sights on Lit's house. The boy asks if the beast got stronger. The assistant analyzes it and confirms a magic power spike. Why hit a village with no meat? Lit can't catch him, so he ditches the cat and asks the flower folk for metabai wine. They have none. Navi blames a water shortage. They're diverting the supply for berry wine, and Lit freezes as the truth hits. Staring at the monster wrecking his home, he knows it's his fault. Adele arrives to help, but he begs her, spare the cat. Time was running out, so he ordered her to rescue the residents first, and she obeyed. She dodges the monster's strikes, distracts it with stones, and grabs the flower people. She got them to safety, rushed back, and ordered the rest saved. She knew this was an advanced monster, but compared to their past enemies, this was actually good news. She collapses before the cat, vision blurring from total exhaustion. She's pushed too far, but she won't stop. She has to protect the others. Fraha appeared right in front of her, clutching a mysterious bucket. She shouted Fru's name in shock, but she didn't even turn. She was clearly up to something. She dumps the bucket on the cat, and it bares its fangs, ready to strike. Lit and Navi are stunned. The Matatabi wine worked since they thought it was gone. Adele orders Fraud to run, insisting she's fine. She refused. It was her turn to protect the princess. Adele flashes back to sobbing before the girl who saved her life. She stroked her head and told her to stop crying. Next time, she'd be the one protecting others. No more time for tears. She leaves, followed by a boy she scolds for lying and slacking. He claims he's controlling the monsters, and he actually is, but the princess has no idea. Adele couldn't believe she let herself forget this. Lit couldn't wait. 2 lives were on the line, but he froze, gripping the seeds as he saw something incredible. Fraud shielded Adele, refusing to move. As the cat raised its paw to strike, she didn't flinch, she just closed her eyes. Adele stands, swatting the monster's paw aside with one hand. The beast freezes in shock as she stares it down, declaring she finally understands. She struck back, dropping the cat instantly and stunning everyone, even plant-covered Frau. Adele glares, ordering the cat to stand as the boys freeze in shock. She's not stopping. It's time to show them who's boss. She crushed the clueless beast, demanding to see his true power and refusing to leave until the cat was exhausted. She struck, dismissing her as a weak princess playing a game, but every blow carried more than just a will to survive. Pure rage, she's furious at herself for wasting time on petty squabbles. She must remember she's a knight sworn to protect her people. She slams the cat down by its tail. Done being a helpless princess, she just proved she's capable of so much more. The crowd froze as the monster collapsed by the princess. Only Lid knew the truth. Despite her warnings, Adele is unbeatable in a brawl. She's the strongest, period. Flower people return the cat to the eastern mountains as Frau finally apologizes, stunning the princess. Fraud admits she was rude, fearing Adele would steal Master Lit, but the clueless princess just looks away. She pauses, then calls Frau her comrade. Frau agrees, now they're officially a team. After an awkward silence, Adele greets Frau and tells her to drop the formalities. Watching them laugh, Lit realizes Adele is stuck being formal, but he knows Frau is a good person. Dinner first, cleaning later. He's using his secret seasoning today. Now where are the pans? The tiger found its prize. Lit questions the flower people, but Navi drops the truth. He must never serve those spices again. At sunrise, the princess heads home. Fraud warns her to stay safe while Adele offers her thanks. She turns to him. He refuses the capital, but she has something else to say. She bowed, thanking Lit for his service in the 100-year Demon War, and apologizing for her disrespect in Tagan village. She knew the capital would break him. She exiled him, yet had the nerve to follow. It was weak, naive, and stupid, but she couldn't turn back. She couldn't leave without a goodbye. Lit froze, stunned by Adele's words. He apologizes, she understands, and they say goodbye, but only for now. She's walking her own path now, wishing the master luck. He thanks her with a smile, offering a place to rest any time. They'd love to see her, and she smiles back at first. Tearing up, she promises to visit often. He nods in approval. Eyes swollen from tears, the princess wished everyone a good day. She fled to the empire to keep fighting. Adele endures what even light can't bear. He realized the princess was always this powerful. No more running. He must protect the village. The tiger and the drought need to be stopped now, and the mountain holds the answers. Lit caught Frau staring thoughtfully as Adele drove away. He tells her to take a walk. She matched his respect but tried to decline. He finally gets it. He's got business in the city next time and invites Fraud to tag along. In Craig's domain, Julian's servant arrives with news from Princess Adelia. Julian asks if she finally accepted the marriage, annoyed by her long delay. The servant reported a blunt refusal, written in all caps. The princess hasn't reached the empire yet. She's resting near Tagan village. She stretches toward the sunrise, time to start living. New low-water berries, grapes, and veggies plus guest cottages looked absolutely stunning. Lit wipes his brow, satisfied with the tree he just planted. He plants mysterious seedling X from seed to sprout. It's thriving and he's hyped. He was nervous about the mystery plant, but out loud, he just hoped it would grow. Navi's village profits from red berries, and Juice just crushed his old court mage salary. Tagan is off to a massive start. Harvest was great, but rain vanished when Lith arrived. Despite the weird drought, crops are growing faster than he can handle. Water's running dry. He hits the city for supplies and scouts the area. Frau's mom warns her to be careful, but Frau insists she'll be fine. She grabs her cloak and dictionary, apologizing for the delay, but Lit's just finished as they head toward the transport guild. Fru agreed. The man hadn't visited the city in ages, so they headed out. Inside the carriage, the owner greets a healthy Lit while the man welcomes Mel, noting she looks great. Frau asks her name again and reassures her. Mel's transport guild is linked to Mia. Mel teases Lit for being a girl magnet, but he nervously laughs it off in front of Fru. Since they arrive tomorrow morning, she tells them to rest up. Navi and Lit watched Frau flip through her dictionary, her worry obvious. Adele leaving warped her worldview, so Lit decided to nudge her forward while playing it safe. The boys arrive and Mel reminds them of tonight's meeting. They go for a map, but Fraud's acting twitchy. Navi notices, but he calms the girls and they head. Walking through the city, the girls terrified of the crowds and about to cry, until Lit calls her. They hit the flower shop to a warm welcome, and Lit's stunned by the massive selection. He points out the Frierance plant, a popular perfume alternative that smells so good even Frau is impressed. Lit geeks out on grapevines and rope-making ivy, impressing the seller who invites them inside. Shocked by a plant he's never seen, the guy asks what it is, and the seller explains it's a greenhouse lily, a rare flower that doesn't grow in. She chuckles quietly. He turns, asking if she's finally calm. He tells Fraud the world isn't that bad, a truth he only just realized. She smiled and agreed. Spotting a glowing flower, he decided they were taking it. Frau asks for the bag, and the man agrees. He thanks her for joining him, and she solemnly vows to protect her new bag. Meeting's close and Navi spotted a tail since morning. The guy asks for a workaround. Navi maps the route, 300 meters right, then 50 meters left. Lit grabs Frau and bolts, yelling to pick up the pace. The enemy speeds up too. Navi reports they're 50 meters away. Lit and Frau rounds the corner, leaving pursuers baffled as grass suddenly sprouts beneath their feet. The net traps the pursuers. They watch from above, expecting enemies, but find Manhwa and a mysterious girl instead. Mia apologizes and introduces Dias from the Artist Guild. Known as the Goddess of the Brush, she's designing their labels. She's wild, but her talent is undeniable. She won't draw the label without a model. Manhwa prefers in-person interviews, letting the young man finally breathe easy. Dias is ready to draw, but first she demands Fraud unmask. Fraud's stunned and Lita's furious. He says she won't, but Dias counters. The label needs a flower person. No fraud, no painting, it's their call. Frau whips off her hood, deciding Dias is trustworthy since she's a mutual friend and smells great. Mesmerized by her beauty, Dias asked the girl to sit and smile for a sketch. Frau forced a smile, but Lit instantly shut her down, reminding her exactly what shop they were in. Remembering her new bag and flowers, a sincere smile lights up her face. Dias focuses on her art while the guy watches. Frau remembered posing in the mirror with the bag Lit bought her. Dias drops her pencil. The drawing is done. Frau blushes, eyes closed with a tender smile. Work finished, the exhausted cats are already huddled asleep. Frauenlitz loved the results and thanked Dias. She's dreamed of meeting the flower people since childhood and thanks them for the chance. The boys head out, hyped for the bottles, but Dias reveals she's got a special surprise. Returning to Tagan, Lit thanks Froggen for the city trip. She beams, saying she had a blast. She clenches her fists, vowing to return, and he promises they'll walk again. Frau's out, Lit calls for a report, and Navi appears instantly to deliver. She remapped the Tagan City route, boosting accuracy within a kilometer. 20 clicks out, the greenery fades. 30 kilometers out, the greenery vanishes. Navi says this specific death zone is totally unnatural. The city's water is fine. This shortage is strictly local. Lit recalls the shopkeeper's story. This land was once lush, but the water vanished as if it were avoiding the area. Navi says the sea is 30 km west, beyond magic's reach. Lit's fully stocked and ready to try every method possible. 1 month later, the cat celebrates victory in the imperial capital. Frau bottles and other labels blew up, sending sales through the roof. She suggests dropping more batches, hyped that their label business was a lucky success. A nearby man watches her and orders his servant to tail the cat. The capital's secret council meets to discuss Lif. 6 months since the departure, and there are 0 signs of trouble. He vanished instantly, leaving no trail. No surprise, he's a pro at this. He shuns fame and money. Greed is easy to control, but his lack of it is terrifying, so they backed off. Wars won and heroes are useless. He's no trouble, so they let him stay. Someone asks about his research, but plant talk bores the room. Meanwhile, a councilman wishes the princess was just a bit more normal. Elsewhere, soldiers gossiped about the princess invading the guild district. They blamed post-war stress, but her return made zero sense. They blamed Recolt's obsession again, while she was actually hiding in the closed archives. She danced across the shelves, her lantern slicing through the dark. Smiling at a memory, the girl in heels hunts for the strictly forbidden papers. Lid asked her for info. She never hits the library, but today's an exception, only to find nothing but piles of dust. She finally finds the book, Abigail the Collector's artifact purchase list. She studies the book, tracking the man who bought the forbidden archives. On July 17, 2017, she finds a seed purchase that leaves her in total shock. A week later in Tagan, he stomps the ground, furious the water's gone. A month since the city, and every attempt to find water has failed. Summers here, the taps are dry, and he knows he can't keep this up. Adele thanks the exhausted guy, bringing him a tray of food. She serves him chicken soup and ham, insisting he rest. Starving, he realizes it's already noon. He thanked the princess for cooking on her vacation, but she didn't mind. Her chicken was delicious as always, though Lit realized she literally never cooked anything else. She delivers the intel he requested. He demands the details, and she reveals she found it in the Capitol Library. Pointing at a sprout, she asks if it's the mysterious tree. Princess touches the leaves, but a noise behind the boys makes Lit whip around. Frau rushes in with a tiger right behind her. He's stunned. Adele kicked it out, and it hasn't been back since. Lit had to stop him, buying monster-trapping seeds while Navi apologized for losing his trail. The princess stands, orders Lit to stop, and marches toward them. She stops before the tiger, asking if it has something to say. Adele and the massive cat lock eyes. The beast bows at her feet. Everyone froze. Realizing the tiger's intent, the princess told the crowd to follow him. Drenched in sweat, Lit gasps for air. They followed the tiger blindly for 2 hours, deep into the eastern mountains. Navi blames the master's slow pace. Frau offers comfort, but Adele cuts them off. They've arrived. Lit finds nothing. He asks if the princess understands the tiger, but she barely does. Is this her secret power? The world shakes as flowers and hair bloom. Navi detects a magic descendant closing in. Suddenly, the trees part, forming a massive arch. The forest splits, opening a path straight to the lake and the magic stone. Lit stunned this mountain hideout was here all along. Navi senses pure magic in the air. Ambient magic buffs creatures, triggering Frau's flowers for a perfect view, but Frau is totally clueless. The princess explains it's for flowers and bonding. The girl's intrigued, but warns her not to try it on her. Lit's worried. A blocked secret zone explains the dead GPS, but he's hyped. He eyes the stone slab. The pattern looks familiar. He looks around. This place is ancient. This climbing tiger is his guardian. He spammed every spell he knew, but the stone slab didn't budge. Navi confirms the stream holds weak, pure magic, making the water a boost for both plants and people. This stream is too shallow to save Token Village. It's a temporary fix that'll dry up fast. Navi declares the water crisis unsolvable. Even Lit can't build a channel, and the guy agrees, frustrated. He asks about the slab, but she has no data. It could be a dungeon entrance, and activating it unprepared is a death trap. He sits, recognizing the pattern. Dungeon or not, he can handle it, and he's ready to seize his chance. Lit cooled off and called Frau and Adele. Night was falling, so they headed home, day over. He grabbed a sample, hoping to solve the water problem. No leads yet. Frau offers to escort Lit through the dark, but he declines and sends them home early. Time to throw their new friend a welcome party. The boys return to Tagan with the tiger, and the flower people are thrilled to see him. Lit froze, awestruck by the massive cat, and asked Adele for the tiger's name. She calls him Newsy, the forest guardian. He's her pet now, so the princess names him. Adele keeps it simple, just like her style. Everyone loved the new friend, and the young man gave him a pat, glad to meet him. The tiger greets him with a lick, but soaked in drool. He's definitely not a fan. Navi and the guy watched from the side, noticing the place getting even wilder. Monma's crew slips in unnoticed, but the village elder is just happy to have guests. Lit's face gets serious again, so Navi asks if he's still stuck on the water problem. He stretched, agreed, and wondered aloud what to try next. Adele interrupts to discuss her discovery, and Lit jumps. He'd completely forgotten. He asked what she found on the mystery tree, waiting breathlessly for her answer. She calls it a world tree, specifically an ash. Lit's stunned. How is this baby a global threat? Adele only knew him from fairy tales. Long ago, the world tree stood at the center. Spirits danced, winds blew, and mana fueled a world of pure abundance. One day, the world tree vanished. Mana drained, spirits faded, and only chaos remained, a secret legend known only to the royals. Adelia's intel was dead on. A silver seed and rainbow sprout, matching the legend perfectly. Litz claims his plant is a monocot, unlike the world tree ash, but it shows 0 monocot traits, impossible for any normal plant. He thought it was mimicry, but that's only the beginning. Court magician collector Abigail buys suspicious items worldwide, and one item on his list stands out. He trashed the seed as a fake. Lit's stunned by the princess's intel, but she says they're the ones to admire. Thanks to him, Tagan village finally has its first world tree in thousands of years. He screamed in horror. This tree would expose the village, and he cursed his curiosity. No water means the world tree dies. Everyone's celebrating, but he's the only one panicking. No water, a weird stream, and now the world tree. The disasters were spiraling. Lit slapped himself, killing the panic. He's the village chief. He has to lead. He orders Navi to analyze the stream. The girl questions the rush, but he needs the monument active ASAP for clues. Lit was certain the monument and stream would solve the water crisis. Manhwa offers Lit a drink, but she's already hammered. The other cat shoves her away and tells her to beat it. Manhwa grumbled in offense, making things awkward, but Mia ignored her to ask Lit if he was free. He apologized, claiming he was busy. She understood but looked away in pain, so Lit promised he'd still make time for Mia. Manhwa shouts a warning, clutching mountain water to clear her head, but Lit screams not to drink it, spooking the cat. She falls gracefully, drenching the world tree. Lit froze as water trickled down the tree, no time to analyze it. Next morning, a worried Frau asks if Lit's okay since he didn't sleep at all. He spent the night by the tree in a blanket. At dawn, he greets her, admitting he stayed up to watch the baby. He thinks he's fine, but he can't be left alone. Right on cue, Navi appears. She offers to watch him so Lit can sleep. He tries to refuse, but Navi's serious stare shuts him down. She loomed over the headman, telling him to stop overthinking. She'd help. She demanded he understand, and he snapped into agreement. Lit thanks Navi and tasks Rao with the other fields. She promises to handle everything perfectly. Exhausted from the mountain hike, he lay in bed wondering what Mia wanted to say. He'd definitely ask her later. The cats drive back fuming. Manhwa's in shock knowing Lit's gonna be livid. Seeing Mia sad, the girl asks what's wrong. Mia admits she failed to get Glit's advice. 4 days ago in the capital, Mia celebrated her economic war victory, certain the top independent guild could wait. A man approaches the cat, noting she looks healthy. He's from the Maiden's Cup Guild, a group researching illegal drugs. Glasses off, she's stunned this guild leads the researchers. She offers a seat and he hands over a gift. A Redberry merchant just hit the autonomous zone, and his stock is flying off the shelves. Mia claims her pharma deal was pure luck, but the man tells her not to be so modest. The old man knows it's a tough ask, but begs for help. She's shocked to find out it's 100 boxes, not baskets. The old man points to the order, 100 boxes with 10 baskets per box. Manhwa realizes it's 1,000 baskets, 10 times the norm. She apologizes, but the old man says it's too late to cancel the order. The old man's ready to ship, but warns the girl, deliver the goods or lose their trust forever. He warns the hero guild's future is in jeopardy. The old man wants his goods in 10 days. She insists spilling the water while drunk wasn't her fault. He asks for the deadline. She says only 6 days left. Hero heads back to the village for Mr. Ritz's help. She doubts they can rely on the master. He's got his own business to handle. She hopes the master can help, but Manhwa warns Torjin village is short on berries and water. She's determined to chronicle every story from Torjin village. She thinks staying sober would have stopped this mess. One girl offers her special homemade donut. Rit gets a visitor from Torjin, and the hero asks about their plans. Manhwa regrets how everything went down. She admits she's trouble. The hero sees the tree as fine but questions its weird look. She holds up a notebook, begging for help. Rith scans the notebook, finding a clean, organized list of spells for releasing and sealing. Mendes demands 900 baskets of red berries. Rit's shocked. What's the link to the monument? This journalist claims she knows exactly where to find the berries they need. Noticing her messy hair and bruised eyes, the hero demands answers now and vows to handle the world tree alone. Man was shocked, asking how this happened. He suspects they need another key besides the spell. Rit asks for the deadline and the girl confirms only 4 days left. Factoring in travel time, the heroes only have 3 days left. Rit knows Mia's innocent. This whole setup is a scam. Man claims Mia was lured into a trap. This is just like Galtlin, and the hero won't stand for it. She agrees this happens everywhere. but she's just glad it led her to Mr. Rita and Mia. They're told they act like villains, just like businessmen. Rit suggests finding their weaknesses. Manhwa asks to leave, needing to get home ASAP. She insists she can handle it alone. She's a journalist. The girl grips an object as Rit warns she'll hurl it if things get dangerous. Satisfied, the hero admits he always knew she was a top-tier reporter. Manhwa pushes for a price drop tomorrow, but the merchant refuses to budge. Heroine vows to catch the villains, and she's only got 3 days left. Manhwa discovers Peril met Mia, and he's a heavy hitter in the Cup Guild. The Winged Handle Guild is torn by civil war, and Puril leads the materialist faction. He asks if Manhwa's sick of these wild stories, but she snaps back. They aren't crazy, and she's not bored. Manhwa asks about the woman, but Joe warns Pearl's security is too tight. Joe says Peril hits the bar 5 days a week. The next town's got a great spot. Monman spots Peril nearby. Cup Guild's Peril is also at the meeting. He spots a winemaker's guild member right next to him. Remy introduces herself and asks if she's new. Heroine confirms it's Remy's first time, and she's super fluffy. Manhwa wonders why these visitors are so loud. Remy notices these visitors were once miserable. The heroine's stunned by the word gloomy, as Remy points out a man from the winemaker's guild. Remy spots cat label wine trending. Manhwa suspects customers are sabotaging the competition since Mia was set up. Another girl warns against client talk, but Mia figures it's because they're both beastmen. She spots beastmen everywhere. The old man says he's leaving, while Manhwa asks about the bar's gossip. She remembers Peril stayed here. Why head to the next city if this inn is for beastmen? Manhwa hunts for evidence to blackmail Peril. 6 years ago, the heroes fed up with the struggle of hauling cargo from the imperial capital. Mia ditches work mid-shift, shocking the hero, but she's just hyped Manhwa's alive. Mia flexes her special donuts and offers a taste. Seeing his massive appetite, she suggests a hospital trip. Mia excitedly announces her stall is finally open. Mia calls this a step toward her dream and asks the girl what hers is. Mama admits she bilayed when things got tough. Nia's awestruck by the magnificent heroine. She's out, but the escape is only the beginning. They can't stop now. Monma's shocked she's great, but Mia doubles down she's the coolest. Mia wants to be filthy rich. The heroine asks what she'll do with the money. Manhwa orders them to stop and return the loot. Shocked, the heroine knew he fled. Manhwa reveals she spotted the man in newspaper ads. Mia suggests journalism, and it's officially Manhwa's new dream. She's hailed for her character and reporting talent. Hero spots the man leaving the hotel. The old man realizes he's late, and the hero thanks him for showing up. She whispers that cats are liquid. South's quiet. The tired old man wants to talk business. They've got top-tier goods ready. Elegant beast girls just arrived straight from the imperial capital. Creature trading is illegal on the southern continent, so she exposes the trader as a total devil. Pyro questions the hero's massive crowd. The hero confirms these goods are Empire favorites. He asks about the red berries, and the other confirms they're cornered just like he warned. The old man's backed by the wine guild and warns that barbaric imperial tactics won't fly here. The merchant thanks him for the save. They worked hard to destroy the berry supplier, but the hero suspects an imperial mastermind is behind it all. Mama's shocked Mia's the target, but Mia reveals bad weather and crop failure destroyed the red berry supply. Someone spots Manhwa and demands to know why she's there. Manhwa panicked at the sight of a man with a knife. He thinks it's a rat, but the merchant insists it's an insect. She says she nearly died. Annoyed, another guy admits he hates bugs. Her only priority now, escape. Manhwa won't open up, but the key fits. She headbutts the door open and rolls out. He's stunned, that door only swings inwards. Pyril ids the info guild spy, and they move fast to catch her. The merchant ditches the village, refusing to help. He's trafficking beastmen from the Empire to the south. The heroine is stunned. Why would he side with the Emperor against the red berries? She's hitting her limit. The hero vows she's done running. Monma activates her special talisman. The old man says one rat is harmless, but warns that by tomorrow, this place will be gone. Rin's getting goosebumps. Delivery day, Manama hits Perella Mansion. Meet Ms. Manhwa from the Information Guild. The heroine tells Peril another article drops today. Maiden's Cup leader Peril is exposed for secretly meeting a mysterious man from the Empire. Manhwa reveals they're not just trading beasts and rigging markets. They're likely spying for the Empire. He asks if it's a joke. She snaps back, the guild only reports the truth. She heard the Emperor owns a restaurant here. Manhwa says the guild artist nailed the portrait. He was ID'd yesterday. The Emperor S at the port, set to sail for the capital tomorrow. No proof yet, but she admits it's the truth. Evidence is coming. She suggests grilling the lab staff or the 3 beastmen from yesterday. He blames every problem on idiots, but the old man sighs. The South is full of fools, too. He points out the stores burned down and the staff's gone. They're fast but brainless. Manhwa notes the Info Guild keeps order here. Peril knows she'd have published the article if she didn't need something. She's satisfied they finally get the picture. Contracts are absolute in Gartland. She signs the deal, ensuring every article burns. Peril refuses, calling it impossible. He snaps that they can easily handle one stupid cat themselves. Manhwa says they cling to the Empire because the local guilds are untouchable. Not even the richest man can resist them. She reminds the Maiden's Cup leader he already knows the score. She warns the Winged Hand matches their guild's power. Don't underestimate them. Sign her contract or rot in prison. The guild leader's out of here right now. She spots a massive crowd and a patrol squad on the street. Manhwa kept her promise, trashing the article as agreed. She claims a stranger stole her sketches and published her article as his own. Police corner Pearl for a talk. She stops for donuts. Mia spots a new shop in a prime spot on the main street, plus a ton of lovely new staff. She says they apologized and admitted the ordering mistake. Mama's shocked. She's clueless, but she's got pure talent. Things just got worse, and Mia's stunned by the store's impact. Heroine suggests a new plan and tells everyone not to worry. Mia picks her design and orders the sign from the Artists Guild. She realizes the new place needs a new name. Mia kicks off her dream, but New Journey is way too long for a store name. She beams, the riches are finally within reach. Mia claims success is a talent. They control their own destiny. Manhwa wants to be a journalist and asks to stay longer. Mia's always happy to help, and the heroine vows to repay her. She vows to wait as long as it takes. The text says you can buy wine and goods from Torjan, that village from before. This is New Journey from Gartland Main Street 13 by Manhwa and Diaz. 62 characters, perfect. Wait, I should ensure author and. Hero reveals the heroine seized Peril's land and assets to keep Mia following orders. Manhwa demands an eye for an eye, insisting Peril started it. She keeps the Imperial spy's link to the Red Berry's secret to avoid upsetting Mr. Rit. Rit's glad no one died and demands praise for her hard work. Surprised he noticed, she tells him the scar doesn't hurt anymore. Her notes say she handled it, she loved it, but Mia can't know. She declares it's finally her turn to help others. Manhwa's researched ancient farming and studied ancient spirit texts. She's finally uncovered the truth behind these ruins. Merchant says without war, magic falls a century behind. He realizes nobody caught the fake documents. He's got other priorities and is waiting for the dust to settle. Manhwa's article claims she used plant magic, but the merchant says that power's been gone for ages. Hero reports the hero invader is hiding south. She says she's totally lost. The box won't budge. Manhwa says magic should have worked. She points to the water monster's dungeon. Rit doubts the data, but the guild member swears it's legit. The dungeon won't open, and the hero suspects they're missing a key. Mia calls for a food break, claiming tea clears the mind. The food is great, but she'd rather have wine. Hero warns it's scorching. Keep those beast cats hydrated. She explains they're further south than the Empire, so it's dry, warm, and summer's just starting. The heroes are worried. This 4-month drought isn't ending, and the water shortage still isn't fixed. Mia notices the pond water hasn't dropped, even in this drought. The heroes notice the pond hasn't dropped an inch, despite the blazing sun. The hero spots a strange effect on the pond. Rit suspects the pond and monument are linked. Mia's business is booming, but water shortages and a lack of healing red berries are drying up her supplies. Hero tells Nabai to punch through the ground into the dungeon to solve the water crisis. Nabai warns it's dangerous, and the fallout is unpredictable. She confidently pitches a new plan to change the location and talk it over with the crew. Rit's determined to protect his home. He'll seize any chance he gets. The heroes unite, launching the mission tomorrow morning. Rit admits he's out of options. His team limits his every move. Our hero is totally lost. Rit spots a girl. She asks his name. He's Rit. Meet the heroes, Nabai, Mama, Mia, Adele, Nosy, Flower People, and Frau. The hero vows to protect his home at all costs. He refuses to leave Torjan. He's already put down roots. Hero asks her name, but she won't get one until she's older. Hero gets the situation and decides to name her. He grins, insisting the world tree needs a beautiful name. She gently touches his head. Shocked, the hero shouts Nabi's name. He knows her. She alerts Mr. Rit, Emergency activation is starting. Rit claims the World Tree's benefactor title, mastering the depth and lightness of all things. Mia asks Rita if he's okay. Rit reassures the hero everything's fine, but 10 years have already passed. He's heading to the monument. Manhwa wants in, but Nebi warns it's dangerous. Heroine says Frau knows these mountains and will guide them. The heroes activate depth and lightness, ready for the mission. Manhwa's ordered, cast a spell. The World Tree benefactor title drops the barrier, but the hero's stunned. What kind of piece is this? Hero wonders which piece he missed. Rit spots a massive whirlpool, sucking the ocean into a deep hole. Nabi's death site matches the architecture. He knows it's no dungeon. The heroes spot a massive structure, Undine's spirit temple. Manhwa's stunned by the temple's look. The World Tree benefactor title drops the barrier, clearing the path for the heroes. Undine's temple opens for the heroes. Heroes find a path down, but the temple entrance is deep and dark. Rit wants to go solo, but the group refuses. They're sticking together. Nama's hyped to make history, and Frau vows not to fail. The hero leads the group, warning them to stay close. The ground trembles. Rit's thankful the moonlight lights their path. Frau panics in the isolation, but Manhwa just laughs. Rit asks, is she really not afraid? Rit spots the glowing moss. The deeper they go, the more variety they find. Hero sees it's just a crab, and Frau notes Manhwa smells like sun and ink. He points to the altar in the center. Another hero detects a signal at the altar's center. The heroes conclude the altar was for spirit worship. The heroes are invited inside. Rit spots the plants growing fast, but the water level hasn't moved. Asked how much they took, the hero reveals the magic water refills itself. Hero makes the call, he's diving in. Symbiosis or parasitism, Rit needs to investigate. Hero thanks Frau for the power-boosting leaves, and she gives him the green light. Rit suggests glowing moss. Vitals are normal, and everything's ready. Nebi's move was inspired by the flower people's sunbathing. He calls it an herbal balloon. A little light generates oxygen, letting them breathe underwater. Rit asks, do they buy it? She mocks the master's naming skills, while Manhwa calls fraud soft. Rit asks if she's coming, but she admits she's terrified of water. Hero tells Frau to wait, but she's too scared to stay alone. If the red flower dies, they're never coming back. Rit tells her to stay in the village and write to Adele. Rit steps up as backup, and the heroine accepts the mission. Our hero gears up for the journey. Frau asks why Manhwa isn't joining. She wishes them luck as the hero activates research. Glowing moss lights the dark, giving the heroes a clear view even in a cave, not a temple. Rit sees Manhwa's fine. The hero asks where to next. Nabi warns the water's mana is jamming their movement. Stay sharp. Protecting Manhwa is the top priority. He spots dense underwater plants, likely fueled by the water's mana. Rit is stunned by these unknown plants. He explains plant magic blends water and earth, and he's hyped to study them. Stunned by the world's secrets, the hero vows to master everything about algae. The hero sense a massive magic spike. Something's closing in fast. Rit enjoys the water and calls it beautiful. Fraud calls the hero Sir again, apologizing for her bad human speech. The flower people reveal they share thoughts directly. Mama weighs the risk for her mission. Fraud dreams of world travel and the power to protect everyone, asking how to become like Rit. He realizes the view looks like a starry sky. Frau wants to return, but the girl calls that sky her favorite. Footsteps approach, panic sets in, she's got no way to call for help. A monster appears, bearing its toothy maw. Nabi sizes up the threat, as Rit warns the team they're surrounded. Fishmen confront the heroes. The hero gasps, he spotted fishermen. Were they here this whole time? These fishmen look familiar. Since arriving south, he's faced one bizarre encounter after another. As try, he asks Nebi what's happening, totally clueless. Let's try, he asks Nebi what's happening since he didn't. Nabi orders everyone to grip the herbal balloon. The heroine admits she was terrified when someone spoke through her mouth. No aggression. Are they crying or dancing? Suddenly something shifts. Frau calls Rita from horseback. The heroes spot a weird horse beast, and Fran shocks the group by hopping on. Rit spots the creature's sparkling eyes and barnacled hooves, noting its bizarre features. They found it, a kelp bee, half horse and half water spirit. Nabi asks if Frau understands the master, and she confirms. The heroes spot Frau, using sign language with the creatures. Frau breathes in a bubble without leaves, so Rit asks where the air's from. Fraud remembers the herbal balloon for breathing underwater. Hero asks to study how Fru's plants affect her brain. That's twice today already. Rit asks what the creatures are saying. She says the creatures are guiding them, calling them forward. She says the creatures are begging for help. When the world tree vanished, the water spirit Undine fell asleep. To protect her, the heroes sealed the temple. Hero thanks her for the translation as they dive deeper, noting they'd never have made it this far without Kelpie's bubbles. The heroes gawk at the massive, stunning architecture, stunned by its insane scale. They enter a massive, majestic hall bathed in soft light. Rit says nobody's here. Manhwa orders land notes, while Rit asks about Frau. Hero sees Nabby lose control. The world tree's blessing triggers. Rit speeds up. Hero and Frau join the fishermen. Rit spots the creature's translucent blue skin and fin-like ears, its dress swaying like water. He points to the unseen water spirit. Hero reveals Undine's awakening. She spots the creatures bowing and says they're thrilled. The hero is stunned as the girl suddenly appears. Undine calls humans arrogant children, stupid seeds that will never sprout. She blames the heroes for killing the sacred tree and waking her up. The heroes see she's livid. Rit summons Undine and points her to the target. The hero spots a lethal water cutter aimed for the kill. Redheads felt this way for ages. Undying lashes out, accusing the hero of slandering the world's sacred secrets. Rin's words set her off, but he's got a plan while Nabai tells the master to focus. Brow tells Rita to open the door while Manhwa vows to die drunk. She brags the village gathered these berries for the wine, despite the drought and dry soil. Hero goes full middle manager, listening to their complaints and letting them tell their story. The heroes gather around a table overflowing with food. Undine is livid. Her rage won't fade after that long slumber, and she blames the heroes for forcing her to sleep. The hero nervously apologizes, while Manhwa spots Rin and Undine chatting nonstop. Frau asks if she did well, and Rit thanks her for the save. Rit distracts the Undine, while Frau hauls in more wine and snacks from the village. Undine loves the wine, and Rit's glad they satisfied the water spirit. He offers a taste of the village's traditional dishes. Undine's hit with a major flashback. She recalls the old days, a world of magic and stories shared over wine. Undine realizes these creatures never stopped. They drained all natural mana and vanished instantly. She reveals that when the world tree withered, the world lost its color. Rit wondered, were people the cause of their own misery? The hero realizes every world is the same. Undine confirms natural mana is depleted. Casting spells is now impossible. She's shocked Rit blocked her strike even with 0 mana in the temple. Modern magic doesn't need natural mana. It runs on the energy inside your body. Undine calls the warriors help a classic human trick and asks what they're after. She demands to know why she's awake. Rit needs water. If she sleeps, the drought won't end. Undine refuses to help, claiming she owes nothing to the world's destroyers. Fraud tells Andy and Mr. Ritz saved them from the flower people. She credits their hard work for these delicious results. Mana is as vital to spirits like Undine as air is to humans. She knows they're doomed. Without magic, they're going extinct. Undine blames humans for the world tree's death. She'll grant their wish after everything they've done, but Undine calls it a mockery. Undine brands the heroes vile monsters for rebuilding the world for their own desires. The hero admits it was all wrong, and that's exactly why he abandoned the Empire. Proud tells Undine she's wrong. Mr. Rit is exactly who he says he is. Undine warns humans will kill them eventually, so if they're gonna hate anyone, hate humanity. Rit claims ambition is his only drive. He admits he's a vile monster. Undine warns, one more word and his head rolls. Tentacles snare the hero as he struggles to speak. He's moving out to research magic and plants in total solitude. Hero admits his desires shifted once he hit the southern continent. Their goals align. Rit suggests a team-up. Hero promises, with Undine's water, he'll restore the land's beauty. Undine doubts what this tiny shrimp can even do. She claims the world tree is gone. Ritz reveals the world tree is in their village, fueling life everywhere. She's stunned humans have the world tree and refuses to believe it. The hero's clueless, so Nabai offers to fill her in. Rit notices the water's warm. She asks his name. He replies, Rit Rickard. Undine grants her power just once. The heroes thank her. The hero's stunned. His power only lasts 100 years. Undine says a century is a blink to her, but generations for humans. Man suggests a massive flood, but Undine says it's impossible right now. He wonders if watering this wasteland grows trees, but they'll just drown. Undine explains roots loosen the soil, letting water soak in easier. She'll change things slowly so the land adapts, bringing it back to life in 100 years. Rith demands they move now to keep his word, while Undine admits she lacks social grace. Hero's got a plan and needs to brief the team. Manhwa insists planting the whole mountain is impossible, but they have no choice. Mia's sure they'll pull through, trusting Mr. Rit to back them up again. Manhwa still trusts him, and today's a massive day for a wine. Hero calls for Undine to wake up. Undine still can't sense natural mana and notices the area's changed. Hero begs the creature for forgiveness, promising they'll swim soon. She says the world tree's rebirth will restore everything. They just have to wait. Undine repays the wine favor and gets straight to work. Rit thanks her, saying it's enough. The hero vows to keep his word. Undine didn't see this coming. Rain magic unleashed. Hero asks Nabai for help and she's on it. Plants explode with rapid growth. As expected, the effect was weak. Only a few trees sprouted. Hero spots a newcomer, stunned by the scene. Seedlings are sprouting all over the mountain. She asks how he pulled that off. Rit used air magic, but his power has its limits. He channels power to boost their growth, letting them control the trees and keep them small. She asks how the flower people use magic, but the hero realizes they don't understand a word. Flower people naturally bond with plants. He says they even talk to them. Rit reveals Manhwa's research found the best mountain seeds, and Mia bought them. Nusi hauls the seeds and signals the start, proving Torjan village is united. The heroine beams as the plants sprout. The hero thanks them, admitting he couldn't do it alone. She warns it's impossible without the world tree's magic. Nde catches the scent of greenery and enjoys the fresh breeze. Wait, Unda notices the pleasant aroma of greenery and says that the breeze is very pleasant. Unda. She's not done yet, and Richarai Cart agrees. This is only the beginning. Benefactor of the world tree activates. Hero asks Undine for her power. He made his choice, and she's backing him up. Magic surges as Undine transforms. Prep's complete, now let's see the payoff. Water carrying the world tree's will. Water erupts with explosive force. A scenic forest takes shape. The heroine cheers, everything worked out. Proud thanks Undine for the assist. Rit's had enough. She tells the hero to shut it, claiming she knows this land better than anyone. World tree calls, heroes rejoice in the river. She flashes back to her past. Pharaoh moves to thank Mr. Rita. Hero tells Frau to hold his hand. Rit apologizes, claiming his body moved on instinct. He cheers, declaring their teamwork made the plan a success. Fowl claims Rit isn't alone, this is pure teamwork. She calls him Mr. Rit, praising him for saving them. Hero refuses. He admits he's always found people disgusting. Rit became a hero just to be different. He finally sees his mistakes and the details he missed. He realizes he should have said and done way more. He ditched everything to hide among the plants, calling himself selfish, stupid, and disgusting. Rit calls himself a despicable nobody. Fruz doesn't understand him, but she knows the hero is a good man. Recalling her hand in his, the hero finally finds himself. He finally accepts himself, R.I.P. Rit rejects the master title, demanding they stand as equals. She apologizes for interrupting, then spots a waterfall right in front of them. Rit asks why Fraud stayed silent, but she didn't want to interrupt. The raft is out of control. The hero says they have to jump. Fishermen help the heroes heal. She notices Mr. Rit acting strange. Rit loves the flower pillow idea. Hero asks if Frau's okay. Frau thanks Rita for the friendship. Rit agrees they're officially friends. He thanks Frau for the help. Heroine warns Rita to stop playing. They're hitting the village and playtime is over. Hero's plan worked perfectly, but the girls spot something wrong with the world tree. She notices the tree shot up a whole meter. The heroine turns to Rita, then her father.